my number one Bitcoin mining stock investment would be... All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom. This is not financial advice. We are here to talk about all things investing, and today I want to talk about the Bitcoin miners. So I'm going to do something a little different than I normally do. I'd like to go through the Bitcoin miners and tell you what my top 5 Bitcoin mining stocks are, and we'll discuss each one a little bit. I think this industry is maybe the most undervalued in the stock market right now. And I'm going to go through my thoughts as to why I think these 5 companies in particular are set to explode. So let's take a quick look at the Bitcoin chart, because obviously these are all in some way tethered to Bitcoin's performance. You see this green right here? That's today. So obviously Bitcoin is having a great day today. It's been a while, so congratulations, everybody. I'm sure you're happy. Today, it's a little over $32,000 right now. Yesterday, it got down to like $29,400. You know, that is at or near its recent lows. And it seems to have bounced off that for the moment, and we'll see. I'm not a Bitcoin to the moon kind of person. I'm not pricing in Bitcoin going to 100,000 or 500,000. That'd be great. I hope that it does do that over the years. But as I build my models around my stock valuations, I'm not counting on that. I am bullish on Bitcoin, but my minimum threshold on these mining companies is if Bitcoin can hold even $25,000 or higher. That is not my target price. What I'm saying is their gross profit at $25,000 is still excellent and they still make great money. All right, so the first thing I've done, this is today. So I just took a screenshot of the middle of the day here today. They're all green. This is the greenest chart Bitcoin mining companies have seen in months. So, you know, it's a nice relief today. Who knows what tomorrow brings? But this is not a today or tomorrow conversation. I'm looking at the next 6 months, the next 18 months. Where are these going? I think they all have massive upside. So that's a brief look at today, just to put things in perspective. I want to go through my criteria for how I've ranked these, and it's a short list. So their current hash rate. So as many of you may know, that's the rate at which they mine Bitcoin. Their secured future hash rate, which is machines that these companies have bought. They're just not yet delivered and not put in place, but they have been secured. Their Bitcoins mined. So I like to take a look at what have they actually done. So it's one thing to have a lot of hash rate. It's another thing to make sure they're effectively using it. Their current stock valuation, i.e. their market cap. So that is key, because if their market caps run up too high, there's less upside the higher the market cap already is. I look at the strength of the balance sheet, because those are things that make a company thrive over the long term, and most specifically the amount of cash and, more importantly, the amount of Bitcoin that they're holding on their balance sheets. So many of these companies are holding large sums of Bitcoin. All of these companies, all 5, have healthy balance sheets, you know, strong cash positions, minimum debt. Last but not least, that they're green and clean. Everybody knows that one of the big things surrounding this industry, the miners, has been the fact that there's concerns that they're not using clean energy. So I think you'll see the 5 that I picked. Some of them are already at the finish line. The rest of them are on their way, and they have a plan. Everybody's adopted a greener, cleaner concept here. Let's take a look at the list. Number 5 is RIOT Blockchain. RIOT Blockchain currently today has a $2.8 billion market cap. So probably a lot of you are expecting to see this maybe closer to 1 or 2. So this is not who's the best miner. This is which one's the best stock. So because of the fact that they're at a $2.8 billion market cap, that reduces the amount of potential upside there is for them. The reason it's not number 1 or 2 and it's slipped down to number 5 is its valuation is already at $2.8 billion. They mined, I believe, 243 Bitcoin in the month of June. They're going to do more than that in July. They're looking to be at 2.51 exahash per second, and they have purchase orders in place by the end of next year to get to 7.7 exahash. That puts them in the elite hash rate among all Bitcoin mining companies. So 2.51 right now, planning on 7.7. So strong, again, strong balance sheet. They do have a lot of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Number 4, Marathon Digital. Marathon Digital currently has a $2.5 billion market cap. In some ways, this is my favorite mining company. I think management did an unbelievable job in the last year resituating themselves. They were ahead of the curve. They've done everything right. Again, the only reason they're at number 4 on this list and not maybe 1 or 2 is they're already at a $2.5 billion market cap, which you'll see is well in excess, spoiler alert, of the 3 remaining companies that I'm going to go through. Marathon is on track to deploy 103,120 miners, which will provide a combined output of 10.37 exahash. For me, that puts them in 4th place. All right, so this is going to make some people possibly angry because this is not a 100% pure play Bitcoin mining company. However, they have massive plans for their Bitcoin mining. Coming in at number 3 is CleanSpark. I know a lot of you may not even associate them really as a Bitcoin miner. They have a core business that surrounds energy efficiency, which works excellently in conjunction with the Bitcoin miners. I believe that their core business will end up working with all of the rest of the miners on this list to make their electricity more efficient as a part of being green and as a part of saving costs. So, the less you spend on electricity, the less your cost is, and that's really the major component cost for Bitcoin miners. So if they can reduce those costs, they increase their gross profit, they make more money, their stock's worth more. CleanSpark purchases 22,680 additional Bitcoin miners and anticipates a 3.2 exahash capacity after deployment. So it is probably going to take them the better part of a year to get those in place, but here we go. They've secured a massive amount of miners. Miners were very difficult to get a hold of. It's eased up a little bit with what's going on in China, but CleanSpark has clearly moved into the Bitcoin mining space in a big way. 3.2 exahash is going to make them one of the top 5 North American mining companies, most likely in 2022. So they've moved into the space in a big way. Very strong balance sheet. They're an energy efficiency technology company as it is, so this is a perfect match. And if you want to talk about green, this company's already 95+% green in their Bitcoin mining. Okay, number 2, Hut 8. Hut 8 has a market cap of $595 million. This is dramatically less than Marathon and Riot. You'll see it's, on the order of possibly, 1/5 the size of those companies from a market cap standpoint. Having said that, Hut 8 mines about 200 Bitcoin a month. So they are one of the big miners. According to their website, they're at 1,200 petahash per second, which is 1.2 exahash. So anybody over at exahash makes you one of the big North American Bitcoin miners. Now, they've already got purchase orders in place to get up to 2.5 exahash by the end of the year. It is their plan to get over 6 exahash by the end of next year. So anywhere from 2.5 to 6 exahash makes them one of the biggest miners in North America. They have saved virtually all the Bitcoin that they've mined this year, and their policy will be to continue to do so. So they're holding their Bitcoin, they're mining their Bitcoin at a good rate. They're adding hash rate at a good rate too. So these things put together in conjunction with their market cap of $595 million, they're currently competing with the amount of Bitcoin that Marathon and Riot produce on a monthly basis. If they can just stay in the ballpark of that, I would expect them to do a lot of catching up from a market cap standpoint. So that leaves massive, massive room for growth. So just to do a quick recap before we get to number 1. Number 5 was Riot Blockchain. Marathon came in at number 4. CleanSpark came in at number 3. Number 2 is Hut 8. My number 1 Bitcoin mining stock investment would be Bitfarms. So Bitfarms, actually much like Hut 8, just recently uplisted to the NASDAQ. These are Canadian companies. They trade on the Canadian exchange, but in addition to that, they've added themselves to the NASDAQ. So they've always, in the past, traded as over-the-counter in the United States. There's been downward pressure on the price of Bitcoin for several months now. So had they uplisted at a different time, that probably would have been a giant catalyst, and they would have already had a large increase in their stock price. As it is, they're probably going to have to wait for Bitcoin to either trade up, or they're going to have to wait for a few more quarters to go through in order to show their financial results, because their financial results are spectacular. So in the end, even if you have to wait for it, my belief is by the time these companies put out their 2021 annual reports, there's going to be no denying these stocks, in my opinion. Bitfarms is worth $438 million. They have the smallest market cap of anybody on the list. By the same token, currently they mine the most Bitcoins of anybody on the list. They mined 265 Bitcoins in the month of June. That was tied with Marathon, but year to date, they're way ahead of Marathon. They also intend to get up to 3 exahash by the end of this year, and they have plans to get up to 8 exahash by the end of next year. So that keeps them in the conversation as one of the largest miners in North America. They have a long track record of successful mining. They are on pace to mine over 400 Bitcoin in the month of July, which would be the best any of these companies has done at all, although I suspect several of these companies are going to break their all-time record in July as a function of the fact that the worldwide hash rate and difficulty level has reduced, making their machines more effective in mining Bitcoin. So for those reasons, I have Bitfarms as number 1. So it's Bitfarms, Hut 8, CleanSpark, Marathon, and RIOT. That is my top 5. These are all excellent companies in my opinion. Let me know what order you think they should be in. If there's any that you think I left off the list, I know there's plenty of other good mining companies. So there can only be 5 in the top 5. So please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching, and best of luck investing. We'll see you in the next video.